Welcome to the Hiker's Dream Show with Landslide, which is me, and I'm here today with CJ Cosby, and we're going to have some fun with his stories and experiences here. And you're on the PCT today, right, CJ?
Sort of.
Okay.
I'm doing a part of the Pacific Crest Trail,
Uh-huh.
but I'm also gonna hike the Timberline Trail.
Okay. And how long have you been
Yeah.
out there?
June 29th is when I started, so almost 2 months.
Okay. And how's it
Yeah.
going with all your challenges and everything?
At times it's hard, but rewarding, I would say.
Can you give us kind of an overview, your background, etc., and why you're out there, your trail name, etc.? Just a general background for the viewers, please, if you could.
Yeah. So my name is Colton Cosby. I'm 26, and I have cystic fibrosis, and so it causes damages to the lungs to the point where it makes it hard to breathe, and a bunch of other problems, but that's what it's known for. I'm pretty sure I tell a lot of people this. I'm pretty sure I'm way off, but the best way to picture it is imagine asthma and bronchitis, but worse. And that's what I've got.
How does it affect you on higher elevations? Is it worse, or how does that do you?
I would say I'm good at higher elevation. It's just the climb up to it is a challenge.
What have you tried to offset that?
Uh, what what do you mean?
Well, I know of MMS, which I would suggest. It brings oxygen into your body. It gets rid of parasites and viruses and bacteria. It's very good, like a
Yeah.
cleanser, particularly oxygen,
Okay.
providing your body with oxygen, things like that.
Yeah.
Have you tried hyperbaric chambers or anything like that? Or,
I think it's more like just taking my time and knowing what I'm getting into
mhm.
before I start making my way up towards higher elevation. I'd say the highest I've climbed is like 9,500 feet.
Okay. I was kind of
And
going through what kind of therapies or solutions have you gone through? I understand the medical establishment doesn't have a lot for you,
no,
so I just suggest these other things that I found very useful: the hyperbaric chamber and the MMS called
no,
chlorine dioxide. I'll send you a link after the show.
okay.
Uh, you just go slow, or how do you have any oxygen with you, inhaler or anything?
Uh, no, I do have this, which I have to do 4 times a day, but on trail I only do twice a day. I can also give you a little demonstration of what this thing is.
Is
So
it like an
basically,
little ozone machine?
it's a nebulizer.
Okay.
So I take liquid medication, and basically what this thing does is it turns the medication I gotta take into a mist, so that way it gets into my lungs.
Right.
Yes, because one of the other thing with my condition, cystic fibrosis, is that the lungs get tight, which makes it harder to breathe. So this little guy uh, goes into this machine, turns it into mist, and opens my airways up. Yeah.
Does that help you
Yeah,
keep going?
yeah. But so does the hiking, especially since I'm doing it every single day, and I'm working my lungs by hiking, coughing, and trying to breathe, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I see that. It gives you and the fresh air out there too, if you
Yeah,
can. stay away from the fires.
Yeah. Well, I live here in Oregon, so that's kind of a challenge with the
Okay.
fires. Yeah. It's kind of hard to see, but you can kind of see some stuff coming out.
And how long do you leave it on for? And what's in there?
Uh,
What's in the liquid there?
uh, I don't quite exactly know. It's called albuterol. So people with asthma have to take a puffer because when they have like asthma attacks and all that, they need it to help open the airways.
Hmm.
So it's something like this.
Yes, yes, I've seen
Yeah.
those. How long
Yeah,
have
so
you how long have you had the condition?
since I was diagnosed at birth, so I've had it my entire life. Yeah.
Boy, that's a big challenge. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And what
a
made
very
you started hiking to offset it? Is that what one of your, ways to do that?
no. My inspiration is a man by the name of Nick Talbot. He's in his 40s, and he did this a few years ago. He has cystic fibrosis, and it took him 3 times to do it. You know what he did?
No.
Everest.
Everest?
Yeah,
He did. He climbed Everest.
yeah. He did. I have no desire to do Everest,
Okay.
but he has inspired me to push boundaries of what people with my condition can do, and that's why I'm out here.
Yeah,
I'm out here to push boundaries, but also to inspire others. I would say with my condition and different disabilities, they don't have to do what I'm doing, but they can achieve their goals and dreams like I've done. That's the main reason why I'm out here. Doing
that's
a little bit for myself.
that's great. That's perfect. That's the way
Yeah.
to do it. It's for others. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with the. Have you heard of the Mission Walker? She's a lady that had cancer,
Oh really?
and,
Oh
and
really?
she started walking, and she walked from Baja to was it Sonoma, California, and visited all the missions, like 20, there was like 16 missions in California or so, and 26 in Baja. She visited all the missions. There's actually a trail, the mission trail, all the
Oh
way.
really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah, and she's another success, you could say, that she's overcome, or at least keeping it stable, the cancer that she had or
Yeah.
has, through walking, fresh air, exercise, good diet, adventure, getting away from the stresses and just being
Yeah.
in nature. That's wonderful what you're doing. I mean,
Yeah.
it is an inspiration. Are you somehow blogging or writing a book or anything to share?
I make YouTube videos. Um, my goal is so I don't know if Barbara told you this. The two of us attempted to do. We started to do the Arizona trail together,
Uh-huh.
and so I got videos from that hike and this hike. But what I'm going to do is wait until I get home, and I'm going to work on them over time. To it gives me a chance to think of the story I want to tell, but also gives me time to reflect on what I've done in my experience instead of like trying to make videos on the trail. I just
Yeah.
feel like that'd be a little too much work, and I want to be out here and enjoy myself.
It is a lot to do that, hike and do the editing and all that. Yeah, very
Yeah.
good. So your plan is to make like a documentary video or what idea? Kind of.
Uh, have you? Do you know a YouTuber by the name of Elena Osborne?
No,
Or have you? Okay.
I'll write her
So in
down there.
20. Okay. Yeah. She's
Uh-huh.
from New Zealand, and she hiked the entire Pacific Crest Trail in 2019.
Uh-huh.
And the way she did it is she turned her videos into chapters to be like chapter one, chapter two, etc., etc. I'm doing the exact same thing, and so it'd be like separate, like 10 to 15 minute videos instead of one long one. At some point in my life, I'd like to get to where I could have the skill to make a long documentary. Just not at the moment.
No, that would be so cool. 'Cause people like you are an inspiration. I mean, people get on the trail for different reasons, but the health part, people that have health issues, that's a huge, huge challenge. I mean, I know when I was, I had a little bit. I did the PCT in 2014 with my son, and I had a challenge with. Actually, I couldn't. I climbed Mount Whitney, came down, and I went into Bishop, which is on the Eastern Sierras, a supply
No,
town. I couldn't pee. I couldn't urinate. I was totally blocked up because I was. They found out eventually I was dehydrated and I had a urinary tract infection, and I had to wear a
ooh,
bag for 3 days. And fortunately they took it off and I was able to continue. But these things are major challenges: the health,
no,
injuries, just the stamina that it takes to be on trail. But it's a huge to overcome it. It's a huge satisfaction and sharing. Like what you're doing is sharing for people to inspire them. That's wonderful. You know.
no.
Um, so you've been on since June, end of June. Have you hiked
Yeah.
before? Have you hiked in? Are you like a backpacker, or is that normal for you, or is this your first time out?
So last year, I did my first ever through hike on the Oregon Coast Trail. Um, do you know where Astoria, Oregon is, or have
I,
you heard of it?
I've heard of it.
So I guess the easiest way I can say is the Oregon Coast Trail basically begins between the Oregon and Washington border on the coast, and then goes 402 miles along the Oregon coast and ends on the Oregon and California border. There's only, I'm pretty sure I'm wrong. I don't quite remember, but I believe there's 40% road walking. There's bays you have to get around. There's beach walking, and there's only 10% of actual trail. So it's not. It's been around since the '60s, but the beaches here in Oregon are public. But I think a lot of the places where the trail wants to go is private land, so it's not completed. Um, that's the first through hike. So before that, I've attempted a through hike. I've attempted a through hike before. It would have been a small trail near where I live. It would have been like only 80 miles, but because of certain things with my condition, it prevented me from trying to do that. And so let me tell you, when I finished the Oregon Coast Trail, I got to the California sign. I was very emotional. It was at times it's kind of hard to talk about because I never thought I would actually be able to do this. And then so I did that one, and so far that's my only through hike I've done. March 15th, I started the Arizona Trail with Barbara. And the Arizona Trail is 800 miles. I ended up I ended up doing 520. There was just certain sections I was concerned about. It's very hot in the desert in Arizona, and I skipped from the town of Kearney, Arizona, to Pine, which is 192 miles. I skipped it because I spent the night in town and I saw it was going to be 100 degrees that week. And this is like maybe a little less than 300 miles in. At that point, I still had issues taking breaks during the day as is, and the water wasn't looking so great. So I skipped 192 miles, and then when I came out of the north rim on the Grand Canyon, I had 64 miles left to Utah. I'm gonna say this is pretty much my own fault. I went into the Grand Canyon with nothing but Pop Tarts and ramen. And so when I came out, I might have come down with something and just was over. How do I want to say this? I'm just gonna say tired, but that's not the word I want to use. And so I decided to get off. I told a lot of hikers throughout who I met on the Arizona Trail, I always put my health first. Because if I don't, then I can't do what I want to do. And so I decided it was the hardest decision I made. So I got off 64 miles left to Utah. Yeah.
You
I'm
going?
I'm I'm
You
not
go?
happy it happened, but sorry,
No,
I'm not
you go.
happy. Sorry.
You're not happy. Yeah, you're going northbound. I was
Yeah,
just saying you're going north, right? Yeah.
yeah, I was going northbound.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was not happy that it happened. But I'm happy I got to go through the Grand Canyon, especially being there for the first time.
Wow. I was going to do the Arizona Trail in October, but I don't think it's going to work out again with my son, who's a hiker too. But I think we've got too much to do here. I'm working in Baja, Mexico on environmental projects, and there's a lot going on in the world. So I hate. I may get out still, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
Barbara's going to help me if I do. So it's good.
yeah, no.
I'm
I was gonna
glad.
say I know she. So, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I know she said she wanted to try to do the Arizona Trail again southbound.
Oh,
I'm hoping she gets to.
when is she
Um,
planning to do that? You know?
I know with her, you would have to talk to her about that. But the last I heard, they were her and her older brother, who's from Washington, planned to do it on the starting the October 15th, and they would start in Utah.
That's exactly when I was going to start, October 15th. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
We will see. I don't know, but there's so much going on in the world right now that we're concerned about. And uh, the reason I'm doing these shows is to see if we can bring, hiking. Hiking community is so cool because people are supporting each other a lot,
yeah,
out there. And that's the way a world could be. Instead of competition and man eat man, it's more of a support system, and that's the way communities could be set up, and that's kind of what we're looking at, how to set up
yeah,
self-sufficient communities that are okay and don't destroy the environment, in the meantime,
yeah,
as the planet's dying in terms of all the funny business going on. So
yeah.
we have a lot to do. Maybe you can participate in that too. Uh, in your own way, and you are, by what you're doing, to inspire people and to see how we can overcome our challenges. So this is what you're doing is great.
Yeah.
You know, what else would you like to talk about in terms of your experiences, people you met, anything like that, or other challenges that you have?
I feel like the best way to answer questions like that is to ask me a question because I can't think of anything.
What? Okay, who is besides Eleanor Osborne? And by the
Oh no,
way, Eleanor, yeah. By the way, I was inspired too by somebody. This woman who walked across Australia, east to west. It was in National Geographic in the '60s or something.
oh wow,
Remember that? It reminded me that inspired me, that journey of hers. And this ever since, I've been looking at the PCT, and finally when I was retired, I had some time and money, I finally, 20 years later, I started on that journey. So she's somebody who inspired me. So is there anybody else beside Osborne that you look to that inspires you, or that you kind of?
yeah. There's a few people. Speaking of National Geographic, growing up, my dad had like old editions from like the 70s of National Geographic. I don't remember all of them, but one stuck out to me. And it was this couple who was walking along the highway with umbrellas.
Mhm.
And it was a story about I know his name now, Peter Jenkins, who walked across America. It took him 5 years to do it, and he started in New York State and then ended in Florence, Oregon. And once I've been trying to, I I vaguely remember that part of my life, and so when I found out the actual name, I bought the two books he wrote on his experience, and I would say that's somewhat partially inspired me too to do what I'm doing. Um, I had an older sister, Lisa, who unfortunately passed away from cystic fibrosis. Anyway, I
Steve,
had an
go ahead. Yeah.
I had an older sister, Lisa, who passed away from cystic fibrosis in 2009, and she was only 14. She wasn't physically well. One, she didn't live long enough to do what I'm doing, but she wasn't physically able to do what I'm doing, and so she's a little bit of my inspiration as well. And just her kind heart. She would when she saw a stranger coughing, she would walk up to them and ask if they were okay. She touched many people's lives. That's also kind of why I'm out here.
Great. Well, yeah, I really have to share your story, with that documentary or whatever,
Yeah,
you're going to make. That's going to be great for people because,
yeah,
uh, what Wild, I mean, with Cheryl Strayed,
yeah,
with her story and others, they look what happened when she came out with her book and then the movie came out with Reese
yeah,
Witherspoon. How many more people got on trail and started enjoying and seeing the benefits of nature and hiking? So
yeah.
you could do the same thing for people. Yeah, exactly. You know.
I love the movie Wild in the book, but I feel like to some degree, people who watch the movie and read the book think it's going to be this magical experience, but they don't realize it's going to be hard, and you're going to have those days where you want to quit.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
really can't. You can't. I mean, yeah, in the movie, it really, it showed her frustration, but you really can't unless you're out there. You don't feel it how it is. Yeah, for sure.
exactly.
I
And
know.
I guess in some ways, I again, like I said, I love that movie and the book. I feel like in some ways it also fantasized like what people think of the PCT and the type of hiking we're doing.
Hmm.
That's not the reality.
No, no, it's much more real.
Yeah,
I
it's a
mean,
lot more difficult than people believe it is.
yeah, and some of the hiking vlogs that people, they're strolling along and they make it look so easy. Some of them, but it's totally you're out there survive. This is survival. It's like
Pretty much, yeah.
weather, cold, hunger. It's
Wildlife.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mosquitoes,
Oh, don't
mainly
get me on
mosquitoes.
mosquitoes.
Hope you have a head net.
From I did. I just got a new one,
Okay.
but from Ash. So before the fire started here in Oregon, I was lucky enough to get through the sections that are now on fire before they even started. So from Ashland to here, the mosquitoes were just so freaking bad, just horrible.
Oh
I had a
yeah,
few mental breakdowns to where I wanted to quit because of the mosquitoes.
yeah,
That's how bad they were.
yeah. It's like you want to jump off a cliff.
Yeah.
Something.
You know what
It
DEET is, right?
yeah, yeah, I do.
So so when you spray that on, they do not give a single fly if you have DEET. They will get you.
You say it does work or it doesn't work? It doesn't
In the
work.
beginning it did, but
Well,
over time
oh, it wears
the
off.
mos-
Yeah.
yeah, well, even if you just sprayed it on yourself, like let's say I just sprayed it on myself, they don't give a flying F. They will
Uh,
get you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that stuff's pretty gnarly too for your body.
Yeah.
So I would. So Say, CJ, we started late and I've got another meeting to go to, but I'd like to get back to you another time, maybe in a week or two, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I should be in Cascade Locks or so.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, it's a nice
Okay.
place. Are you going to Washington then?
Yeah, I'm doing the Timberline Trail again because I'm trying to kill time till the 19th of August for PCT Trail Days.
Okay.
I've so I'm at the Timberline Lodge right now, and I had visited the lodge in 2019, and I planned at the time I planned to go to PCT Trail Days. I forgot about it and I missed it by 2 days.
Okay.
And so I knew I was going to walk into Washington. So I thought, why not on this hike? And since, like I said, I live here and I've seen the mountain many times growing up, so I thought, why not hike around the mountain?
Cool.
But my friend Bean, who started in Cascade Locks and hiked south to meet me here, my dumb butt convinced him to hike the Timberline Trail. So I'm doing it a second time.
Okay.
We
Okay.
actually leave today.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
So when can you come on again? When would be a good time?
I will let you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just keep you informed and updated.
Okay. In the meantime, I'll watch your posts. I'll send you some stuff on chlorine dioxide, which I suggest you could use it in your inhaler, even. But I'll send you some stuff on that.
Okay.
It's a pleasure knowing you, and thank you for coming on, and we'll talk again.
Yeah. Also, I remember you said you wanted to know my trail name.
Yes.
So there's three, but it's a combination of all three. Samwise, the condition, Dream Crusher.
Okay, I like Dream Crusher.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. All right, man. You're great. You're wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. See ya.
See ya.
Hello, my name is Colton. I'm 25 years old. I have cystic fibrosis, and after many day hikes,
with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, to right the unrightable wrong, to love pure and chased from afar.
someone seen my first mountain,
To try when your arms are too weary,
and after trying to accomplish a long distance hike,
unreachable star. This is my quest to follow that star, no matter how hopeless.
little did I know,
To fight for the right without question pause, to be willing to march into hell.
I completed my through hike on September 20th on the Oregon Coast Trail and become the first person with cystic fibrosis to accomplish it. And it didn't hit me until I touched that sign. In that moment, everything I had experienced,
And the world will be better for this. That one man, scarred and covered with scars, still strove with his last ounce of courage to fight the unbeatable foe, to reach
all the kind and encouraging people I've met along the way.
Unreachable star.
Came rushing back to me. I could not put it in words.
Just like olive oil, kid. Is that really just like olive oil? Told you you need Yankee. You did it. I can't believe I actually did it.
That I had realized I achieved an impossible dream.
The unreachable star. This is my quest to follow that star. No matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question pause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. And I know
I have some news. I actually made it to California. I did it. I hiked the entire Oregon coast. I also hiked the entire state of Oregon. And in achieving my own dream, I have inspired others to reach for, pursue, and accomplish theirs. This is my story.
to fight the unbeatable foe, to reach the unreachable star.